1 hour, I'm going to introduce the species distribution model. I already saw that a lot of people working already with species distribution models, so probably this one will be like a introduction. But we need this because then tomorrow we are going to do a practical session using R, and we are going to do species distribution model. And before I will do a lecture about Bayesian modeling, so then in the practical session we are going like to combine the two things. Okay? So sorry for this, but it will be the first really methodological lectures because I need all the piece of the presentation. So when we are going to do the practical session, all we know what we are doing. I would like that you just don't run the script just to see what happened, but to understand really what you are doing. Okay? So I'm going to introduce the species distribution model in general with some example, special data, the kind of data that we need to run a species distribution model, where we can find this data. The different modeling algorithms, they already exist in literature, and then if we have time, I don't know, I asked to Adriana to advise me. I want to introduce the model selection and calibration, but if I'm going out of time, I cover this part in the practical session. Okay? So, species distribution models, we are going to see the literature about this model. You see the people call this model with envelope modeling, habitat modeling, niche modeling. The ecological concept that is behind this model probably is different, but finally the method is the same. It's a statistical method you can apply for different purposes. As we see in the different lecture, this model used especially for predict the response of a species to climate change. A lot of people now are using this model because they want to know if a particular species is going to decrease its abundance with the increase of temperature or things like this. But also you can use this model to with other purposes. For example, you can identify the essential habitat of vulnerable species, probably because we want to establish some conservation area. So you want to identify hotspot of richness of biodiversity. But this kind of method can be used also for different kind of purpose. For example, one of these, I worked in a project a few years ago, and we used species distribution model to do some projection, but in the past. We was interested to discover the distribution and the abundance of the North Atlantic whales. These are endangered species. Now there is like 500 individuals left in the Atlantic Ocean. It was exploited a lot in the early years of the 19th century. And so we want to know how was this distribution in the past before this anthropological impact was behind. So we combine historical data, environmental data, and we do like information in the past to understand the distribution of the species in the past. And when you do species distribution model, also you are doing prediction of the abundance. So we know how much individual was before the hunting started. Okay? But you can use species distribution model also for other kind of aims. For example, now we are working in Spain in a project, it's a European project that is trying to deal with the discard issue. Discard is the part of the catch that is not commercialized, so it's an economic loss for the fishery. Actually have a lot of ecological impacts in the ecosystem. So we are working closer with the fisher, and we are doing like species distribution model in real time. So we build a web, it's like this one, so you see, and the fisher can consult this web. In real time, they can know the area in which there are high density of discard, so they can avoid this area. And so they have a less ecological impact, they also an economic increase, because of course they are interested in the economic part. So as you see, you can learn this method, this technological statistical model, and then you can use for a lot of different issues. So let's see how it works, species distribution model. So now we are going details. I like to be really visual. So this is how a species distribution model works, like with figures. So let's think that we want to know about the probability of presence of a species. So we go in an area of interest and we collect data, or we have data about the presence of the species. So here the green dots represent the presence of the species. And when you look at your database, you have like an Excel, an access sheet, and where you have the presence of the species and you have the latitude and the longitude of the species. Okay, so this is the first part that you need to run a species distribution model. So the second part is environmental variable. Environmental variable describes the habitat where the species live. So we need to know in the same location where we collect the data of the species, also the environmental variable. So again, to be visual, we have an Excel, we have the latitude, the longitude, the presence of the species. And also we have the value of the environmental variable. In this case, it's the bathymetry, the temperature, or the precipitation. Okay? So this is the essential data that you need to run a species distribution model. So then you need a statistical model. The statistical model is going to connect the species with the habitat. So we are going to know the relationship that the species have with the environmental variable. When you run a species distribution model, you can have a result like this one. Like this one of the temperature. So you can know here, for example, where the species is more probably present, it's like in the 50 degree of the temperature. So you are going to know a relationship, a strict relationship with the species and its environment. This is really important because it's the first part of the species distribution model, it's the estimation of the relationship of the species with the environmental variable. And you are going to use this relationship to extrapolate in the other area or in future or past time. Okay? And then you have an output like this map, in which you know that, for example, in this case, the red color indicates that the species is more likely to present there because probably the temperature is like 50 degrees. And then in the blue color, the species is less present. Okay? So it's like a really visual result that you can have with species distribution model is a map. All the people can interpret this map. And it's the same map that, for example, Fisher are using in Spain to avoid the high discarded density area. So it's really an easy tool to explain the result to the people. Okay? The important things here is that when you want to extrapolate the relationship between the species and the environmental variable, you need to know also the environmental variable in all the areas that you are going to predict. Okay? So we need all this piece to run a species distribution model. So let's see the data. I'm not going details in this slide. I want just that you have this slide because I'm going to leave you the presentation so you know the difference between the spatial data that exist. Just this one. Just to represent the data there, in statistics we call how statistical data and what they are. It's an observation that describes a process. In our case, was the probability of occurrence of a species in a space, in an area. This one is an example in the maps where there are the black point represents the abundance of the European cake in Spain. So we have the latitude, the longitude, there are the fishery, the mean of the fishery holes, and we have a natural look associated is the abundance of the, in this case, of the European cake. Okay? So we need just statistical data to run species distribution model. So as I said, there are two parts of the model. The data of the species and the data of the environment. The data of the species could be of three different groups. Presence only data. Let's think that you go in the field and you collect data about the presence of the species. And in the other case, you have presence absent data. It's like you go in the field, you record the location where there is present the species, but also where there is absent. So we have presence and absent. In the best case, you have also abundance records. So you go in the field, you collect the location where there is the species, but also the amount of the species. In this case, could be like the records of the number of the individuals. Just think, for example, when you go to do visual census, you count the number of the species. And in the other case, you have like an amount, like in fishery, you have the weight of the species it was fished. You can get this data from different sources. A personal collection, you have the time to discover the distribution of the species. So in the best case, you have a project, the money, you go in the field, and you collect the data. Is the best case. But in some cases, you have to use like museum collection records for the past, for example, for the distribution of the species in the past. And sometimes you have to use like opportunistic survey, like fishing. This is really important because then when I do the lecture of the Bayesian model, we can see that when you use this kind of data, like fishery, they are collected with a preferential sampling, not a random sampling. So the results that you can achieve with this kind of model are really different if you don't use a correct model. Because fishers go to fish in the area where they know that there is a species. They don't just do a random sampling, okay? So you have to correct this fields. And finally, there are online sources. I put here the three most famous one: the Global Biodiversity Information Facility. They also have aquatic and terrestrial species. The Ocean Geographic Information System, the AquaMaps. And we are going to use the data of AquaMaps in the practical session of the species. And this data is only present data. They just have the presence of the species, and sometimes have a lot of bias because for the people you also can put the data in this system. Sometimes there is some bias in the identification of the species, of the location. So you have to correct all this data, and you are going to do this in the practical session. And the second part is the environmental data. This is really important because depending on the selection of the environmental data, the result of the prediction can change. So usually you choose environmental data. They are connected with the biology of the species. The swim to a pelagic species probably is more influenced by the sea surface temperature with respect to the type of the seabed. So you have to do this selection. And you can have oceanographic variable like sea surface temperature, salinity, or oxygen chlorophyll concentration, or bathymetric filters, like for example bathymetry, type of seabed, slope, porosity, and so on. Okay. You can get this data like in the if you are doing a survey, like in the same place where you collect the data of the species, you can also collect the data of the environment. This is the perfect case. But sometimes you have to collect this data like a posteriori, so you have to use download data from remote sensing, from satellite. In the practical session, we are going to use data from Oracle. They have like 20 different environmental variables. But also there are a lot of different websites where you can download this data. For example, the NOAA or Marcel. Marcel is really good because there are a lot of bathymetric environmental data, like the bathymetry. They are really good spatial resolution. And the other things, when you download this kind of data, you have to, as Ben said, you have to select your temporal resolution. You can download data like a daily mean, monthly mean, or yearly mean. Or also you can use data in future scenarios. If you are interested to understand the response of species to climate change, for example, you can use this kind of data. It's like a prediction, a projection using ocean model of the temperature or the salinity. So you can get this data because it's all open access. Okay. And the other key point that you have to remember for the environmental variable is the spatial scale of the environmental variable. As I wrote here, it's not the same if you are going to do a species distribution model for an ant or for an elephant. So you have to be really pay real attention in the spatial scale of the environmental variable. And the spatial scale is divided in two different components, the extent and the resolution. The extent refers to the size of the region if you want to predict the species distribution. Let's think, for example, they want to know the distribution of the European hake in the Mediterranean Sea. So this is the Mediterranean Sea, is the extent. And the resolution refers to the size of the grid cells that you have. To be visual, let's think this one is the Mediterranean Sea. So as you see, there is the same extent of the spatial case, also with the same, but the spatial resolution changes every time. So the grid cell changes every time. This is really important if, for example, if you interest higher in this one, in the red, if you use a spatial resolution of 100 kilometers, you have like, I don't know, 10 value of your incremental variable, and probably you don't get any variability in the incremental variable. But if you are going to use a spatial resolution of 0.5, probably you have more value and you can get more variability. Okay? So it's two things to pay attention when you select the incremental variable. And just to summarize, there are a lot of different model algorithms nowadays. If you go to see the bibliography, like there are dozens of papers that use like the same data set, just comparing the different algorithms to see how the prediction can change. I put here just the most famous one, BioClim. This is like, I think, the first one. They use only presence data. And the most common one is Maxent. They use the maximum entropy algorithm. And the important point here, because I know there are a lot of people that use Maxent, he uses present background data. The background data, we are going to see, we are going to do this in the practical session, is like a generation of pseudo-absence. Really quickly, think that you have just present-only data, but you want to use a model that needs present-absent data. Let's think, for example, in a general linear model, you have to use present-absence with a binomial distribution. So sometimes we want to generate randomly absence. Sometimes you can do this in a really good way because, for example, the biology of the species is really clear. For example, coral reef species, they are only coral reef, so you can generate absence outside the coral reef. But, for example, Maxent use randomly generation of pseudo-absent data in the background. I want to see this in details, but it's like generate in all the area that you want to predict. So sometimes you generate also for default where there is the present. Here in orange you have the presence of the species. This is the data that you are going to use. And if you generate and you don't pay attention in the generation of the pseudo data, sometimes you generate absence also where there is the presence. So sometimes this could be like a bias in your final prediction. And then there are a lot of regression models. We are going to see some of these when we are in the practical session. And generalized linear model, generative model, Gaussian regression tree, random forest. And you can use this model with a frequentist approach, this is like the classic statistic, or with a Bayesian approach. And we are going to see the difference for using these two different approaches. When you have to choose the model, so you have to pay attention in the different things. For example, if you will depend a lot of the data that you have, is not right. Like say, I'm going to use a generative model, and you don't explore your data, so you don't know what you have. So there is like first to do an exploration, see if you have presence only data, presence data or abundance. And also the objective of your study, because sometimes you are more interested in know the relationship between the species and the environment, and sometimes you are more interested in understand the prediction, to see the prediction in the future times, for example, of the species. So there are some models that works well in the estimation, and other models that works better in the prediction. Okay. And just to finalize, the other three things, the two things that are really important is like the uncertainty. So we are going to see that with Bayesian model we can compute and account better the uncertainty. There are a lot of ways to collect data, the identification of the species, the location, also the environmental data. So you have to use a model that can account for all this error. And the spatial temporal resolution and autocorrelation. So I don't know if you are all familiar with the spatial temporal autocorrelation concept. You all know about the spatial? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So we are going to see that in the Bayesian model you can introduce like an effect that can account about for spatial correlation and temporal correlation. Okay. So I don't know if I go finish. Okay. So there are other two steps when you are doing a species distribution model. Is the model selection and the model calibration. Because when you do your prediction, your final prediction, you are not finished. It's just the beginning because you have to be sure that the prediction is good. So you have like one evaluation of the prediction. And so tomorrow, before to start the practical session in R, we are going to take these two last steps, and then we are going to reproduce this distribution model. Everyone has installed the package in R. Someone had a problem? This is the moment to say something. I can check with you later if someone will have. Okay? So perfect. So tomorrow we are going to start with the last step, this is the model selection and calibration, and then we are going to use species distribution model with Berkeley random forest, and we are going to see also general linear model and Bayesian model.